The first light of dawn crept through the window of a small room in an old apartment complex. Anna, a 32-year-old nurse, slowly opened her eyes, her body tired after a long night shift at the city's general hospital. She sat up, reached out and stroked her long black hair. His eyes unconsciously looked at the empty wall opposite the bed. How long had she wanted to hang a painting there, or at least a few photos? But her busy and lonely life seems to leave no room for those little things. Anna sighed, got off the bed, and began to prepare for the day. She has been working at the hospital for 10 years, and during that time, her life revolves around work and shifts. Sometimes, in rare quiet moments like this, she wonders if she's missing something. Anna walked into the small bathroom, looking at her tired face in the mirror. The big, black eyes, which had been praised by many, now had slight dark circles, a sign of consecutive nights. She told herself that she needed more rest, but then dismissed that thought. Her work is important and there are too many patients who need her care. After taking a shower and putting on her familiar nurse uniform, Anna enters the kitchen to prepare a simple breakfast. The kitchen was small and neat but lacked family warmth. Only a set of dishes, a cup and a small dining table enough for one person. Sometimes, Anna imagined the laughter of children or the aroma of family breakfast filling this kitchen, but then she shook her head to dispel the illusory thoughts. While hurriedly eating a bowl of porridge, Anna opened her phone to watch the news. The news about traffic accidents, natural disasters and epidemics makes her even more determined with her work. Every day at work, she does her best to make a difference, even if it's small, in the lives of the patients she cares for. When she left the apartment, Anna carefully locked the door and walked down the stairs. She greeted a few familiar neighbors, most of whom were elderly people living alone like her. They often tell Anna that she should find a partner, that life will be more meaningful when she has someone to share with. Anna just smiled and nodded, but in her heart she told herself that her work was enough to fill her life. Walking out onto the street, Anna took a deep breath, feeling the early morning air and the cold car. The city is slowly waking up, shops are starting to open, and the flow of commuters is starting to get busier. Anna blended into the flow of people, walking in a mood ready for a new day of work. On the way to the hospital, Anna passed by a small park. She paused for a moment, looking at the children playing with their parents. The children's laughter made Anna's heart flutter. She wondered if she would ever experience what it was like to be a mother, or if work would always be all she had. Shaking her head to dispel those thoughts, Anna continued walking. She couldn't let herself be dreamy. There are so many people who need her care, and that's the most important thing right now. As Anna approached the hospital, she noticed something was wrong. A small crowd was gathering near the main gate, and it looked like they were buzzing about something. Curious, she walked faster, trying to see what was happening. As she got closer, Anna heard the barking of a dog. This surprised her, as animals are usually not allowed on hospital grounds. She squeezed through the crowd and the scene appeared in front of her that stunned her. Standing at the hospital gate was a yellow Labrador, whose fur was stained with mud. But what surprised Anna and everyone around her was not the appearance of the dog, but what it was holding in its mouth. A newborn baby, wrapped in a light blue blanket, was safely in the dog's mouth. The baby seemed to be only a few days old. His eyes closed and fast asleep, seemingly unaffected by this strange journey. Anna felt her heart beat faster. During her 10 years of working at the hospital, she had never witnessed a situation like this. Without hesitation, she stepped forward. Her eyes did not leave the baby and the dog. "Everyone, please get out of the way," Anna said loudly, her voice full of authority. "I'm a nurse, let me handle this situation." The crowd dispersed, making room for Anna to approach the dog. She carefully knelt down, keeping a safe distance from the animal. The dog looked at her intently, his eyes full of intelligence and worry. "Delicious," Anna said softly, trying to reassure the dog. "I won't harm him. We will take care of the baby. You can trust me." The dog seemed to understand Anna's intentions, and she slowly placed the baby on the floor gently and then took a few steps back, but still did not take her eyes off the child. Anna quickly picked up the baby, quickly checking for vital signs. "Oh, thank goodness," she whispered when she noticed that the baby was fine, that she wasn't hurt at all. At that moment, Dr. Wilson, the head of the department, and a group of other nurses rushed over. "What's going on, Anna?" he asked, his eyes full of worry when he saw the baby in her arms. Anna quickly explained the situation, while handing the baby over to Dr. Wilson. The dog still stood there, observing everything intently. "It's unbelievable," Dr. Wilson shook his head in astonishment. "We need to get her checked right away, Anna. Take him to the emergency clinic." He turned to a young nurse. "I contacted the police and child protection agencies. We need to find out what happened to this baby's parents." Everyone quickly acted under Dr. Wilson's direction. Anna hugged the baby and hurriedly took it to the clinic, while Eric ran to make a call. Dr. Wilson turned to look at the dog, his expression full of thought. "You're Stork," he said to the dog. "We need to learn about you too." The dog looked up at Dr. Wilson, his eyes as if to say he understood. He sat down, still not taking his eyes off the direction in which Anna had taken the baby. In the emergency room, Anna and her colleagues quickly checked on the baby's health. She gently wiped the baby's body clean and checked for abnormal signs. "The boy is about 3 days old," Anna told Dr. Wilson as he walked into the room. "There were no signs of external trauma, normal heart rate and normal breathing. The body temperature is a little low, probably because it's cold outside, but it's not worrying." Dr. Wilson nodded and conducted a more thorough examination. "Very well, we need to monitor him for the next 24 hours to make sure there are no problems. Anna, can you stay and take care of her?" "Yes, doctor," Anna replied, her eyes not leaving the baby. "I'll be by her side when things are settled." Anna sat down next to the small cradle, where the baby was fast asleep. She couldn't stop thinking about this strange situation. How can a dog take a newborn to the hospital? And more importantly, what happened to the baby's parents? At that moment, Eric knocked on the door and walked into the room. "Sister Anna, I just talked to the police. They are investigating and will be here soon. They are also looking for information on recent disappearances or accidents that have been linked to parents with young children," Eric said. Anna nodded, her expression contemplative. "Thank you." "Eric, what about the dog?" Eric smiled. "It's still down the hall. The guard fed it and drank water. It's very good, doesn't cause any trouble at all." But he kept looking in this direction, as if he was worried about the baby. Anna couldn't help but feel touched by the dog's devotion. "What a clever and loyal animal," she whispered. Suddenly, the baby in the crib began to cry. Anna quickly stood up and gently picked up the baby. "It's okay, baby," she soothed, gently handing him over. "She must be hungry. Eric, can you get me a bottle of milk?" Eric nodded and quickly left the room. Anna continued to soothe the baby. Her heart sank at the thought of her plight. "Don't worry," she whispered. "We're going to take care of him and we're going to find his parents." When Eric returned to the bottle, Anna gently fed the baby. The baby quickly stopped crying and sucked deliciously. Her big round eyes looked at Anna with confidence. "What do you think happened to her parents?" Eric asked, his voice full of worry. Anna sighed. "I don't know, Eric. But Ethan, they're fine. And Ethan will find out soon." When night fell, Anna remained in the hospital, unable to leave the baby. She sat next to the crib, listening to the baby's steady breathing in her sleep. Suddenly, she heard a slight noise from outside the door. When she opened the door, she was surprised to see the Labrador sitting there. His eyes looked at her worriedly. Anna hesitated for a moment and then decided to let the dog into the room. "Okay," she said quietly. "But you have to be very quiet." The dog seemed to understand, and he gently walked into the room and lay down next to the baby's bassinet. Anna observed this scene, feeling that there was something very special in the relationship between the dog and the baby. The night gradually passed, and when the first dawn broke, Anna was awakened by an urgent knock on the door. She quickly opened her eyes, realizing that she had fallen asleep on the chair next to the baby's cradle. The Labrador was still lying silently on the floor. His eyes were wide open, full of vigilance. "Come in," Anna said, her voice a little hoarse from the nap. The door opened and Dr. Wilson entered, followed by two men in police uniforms. Dr. Wilson's face looked tense, while the two officers had serious expressions. "Good morning, Anna," Dr. Wilson whispered. "This is a captain from the police department. They have information about the baby's parents." Anna stood up, feeling her heart beat faster. "Hello," she said, trying to keep her voice calm. "Have you found her parents?" The captain walked over, his eyes full of pity as he looked at the baby sleeping in the cradle. "Okay, we found them. But I'm afraid that's not good news." Anna felt her heart tighten. "What happened?" The captain sighed heavily. "We received a report of a serious traffic accident about 10 kilometers north of the city. A car lost control and plunged into a precipice. There were 2 adults and a dog in the car. We believe it's the baby's parents." Anna felt as if there was a stone weighing down in her heart. "Are they okay?" The lieutenant shook his head, his expression sad. "Unfortunately, neither of them survived. We found papers in the car confirming that they were husband and wife and had a photo of the newborn. But when we arrived at the scene, there was no trace of the baby or the dog." Anna felt her mind spinning. She turned to look at the sleeping baby and then looked down at the dog lying next to the crib. Everything suddenly became clear. "This dog," she said, her voice trembling with emotion, "it saved the baby from the accident and brought him here." Dr. Wilson and the two officers both turned to look at the dog in amazement. The Labrador looked up at them. His eyes seemed to contain a tragic story. "It's unbelievable," the captain exclaimed. "This dog acted like a real hero." Anna felt tears welling up in the corners of her eyes. She knelt down beside the dog, gently stroking its head. "You're Max," she whispered. "You saved this child's life." The dog groaned softly, as if sharing her sadness with Anna. She couldn't hold back anymore. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Dr. Wilson was also touched by the situation. He turned to the two police officers. "So what do we do now? Where is this baby going?" The captain shook his head. "We will contact the Social Protection Agency. They will find the baby's relatives. If she doesn't, she will be put in a child protection center." Anna suddenly felt a strong determination rise in her heart. She stood up, wiped away her tears, and looked directly into the captain's eyes. "I want to adopt this baby." Everyone in the room turned to look at Anna in surprise. Dr. Wilson was the first to speak out. "Anna, are you sure? This is a very big decision." Anna nodded, her eyes full of determination. "I'm sure, doctor. I have felt a special connection with this baby since he was brought here. I can't let him go to the shelter." She looked down at the dog. "I want to adopt this dog as well. They can't be separated after everything that has happened." The captain nodded, his expression full of respect. "I understand your feelings, Anna. But the adoption process is not simple. We still need to investigate thoroughly and follow the law." "I understand," Anna said. "I'm ready to do whatever is necessary. I just want to make sure that this baby and the dog are safe and loved." Dr. Wilson placed his hand on Anna's shoulder, his eyes full of support. "I'll support you in this process, Anna. We'll take care of everything together." At that moment, the baby in the cradle began to cry. Anna quickly walked over and gently picked up the baby. The dog also stood up, his eyes following Anna's every move. "Shoo, it's all right, baby," Anna soothed gently, handing her over. "Mom is here." When she said the word mother, the whole room seemed to sink into an emotional silence. Everyone realizes that they are witnessing the beginning of a new family, connected by love and courage. The captain cleared his throat, trying to hide his emotions. "We're going to start the process right away, Anna. We will be in touch with you in the next few days to discuss next steps." Anna nodded, still holding the baby in her arms. "Thank you, I'll wait." When the two officers left, Dr. Wilson remained in the room. He looked at Anna with pride. "You're a brave woman, Anna. I believe you will be a great mother." Anna smiled, tears welling up in the corners of her eyes again. "Thank you, doctor, I'll do my best." When Dr. Wilson also left, Anna sat down in the chair next to the cradle, still holding the baby in her arms. The Labrador approached, resting its head on her knee. Anna gently stroked its head. "We're going to overcome all challenges together," she said quietly, looking from the baby to the dog. "We're going to become a family." The baby in her hand stirred slightly, and then opened her eyes. Her big round eyes looked straight at Anna, and a small smile appeared on her face. It was the moment Anna knew that her life would never be the same again. In the days that followed, Anna faced many challenges. The adoption process is complex and requires a lot of paperwork. She had to go through many interviews, background checks, and financial ability assessments. But with the support of Dr. Wilson, colleagues and friends, she gradually made it through one step at a time. During that time, the baby Anna named Ethan remained in the hospital under intensive care. Anna spends all her free time by Ethan's side, taking care of and loving her. The Labrador dog she named Max has also become an integral part of their daily lives. With each passing day, Anna feels more and more attached to Ethan and Max. She begins to imagine their future together: warm weekend mornings, goodbye trips in the park, and bedtime nights. But she also couldn't help but worry about the upcoming difficulties. How can she balance work and raising a child? Will she be able to afford to support a small family? One evening after a long shift, Anna sat by Ethan's cradle, quietly observing the sleeping baby. Max lay at her feet, his eyes not leaving Ethan. Dr. Wilson entered the room, carrying 2 cups of coffee. "You should rest, Anna," he said softly, handing her a cup of coffee. "You've worked too hard." Anna smiled tiredly and took the coffee cup. "Thank you, doctor, I don't want to miss any moments with Ethan." Dr. Wilson sat down beside her. "I understand, but you also need to take care of yourself. Ethan will need a healthy mother." Anna nodded, taking a sip of her coffee. "Doctor," she said after a moment of silence, "are you doing the right thing? Can you afford to be a mother?" Dr. Wilson looked at her, his eyes full of warmth and trust. "Anna, in my 30 years as a doctor, I have never seen anyone with the love and devotion you have." She was ready to change her whole life for this child. "That's what makes a great mother." Dr. Wilson's words seemed to strengthen Anna. She looked down at Ethan, feeling her heart filled with love. "Thank you, doctor," she said quietly. "I'll do my best." The days passed, and finally, after 3 months of stress and waiting, Anna received the good news. Her adoption application had been approved. The day Anna officially picked up Ethan home was an emotional day for everyone in the hospital. When Anna walked out of the hospital, holding Ethan in her arms and Max walking beside her, greeted by a crowd of colleagues, friends, and patients who had heard their stories, applause and congratulations rang out everywhere. Dr. Wilson walked over, hugged Anna and whispered, "Congratulations, Anna. You've worked a miracle." Anna smiled through tears of happiness. "Thank you, doctor, and thank you, everyone. Without everyone's support, I can't even do this." When Anna stepped into the waiting taxi, she turned to look at the hospital again. This place witnessed one of the most important moments of her life. It's not just where she works anymore, it's also where she finds her new family. On the way home, Anna sat in the taxi, holding Ethan in her arms, and Max lay at her feet. She looked out the window, and saw that the city seemed brighter than ever. Every street, every building has a new meaning. This will be where her son will grow up, where they will make good memories together. When the car stopped in front of Anna's small apartment, she felt her heart beat faster. This will be Ethan's first time coming to his new home. Anna carefully stepped out of the car, Max following closely beside her like a loyal guard. "Welcome home, Ethan," Anna whispered as they entered the apartment. She has spent the past week preparing for this moment, transforming the side bedroom into a cozy children's room with bright colors and soft toys. Anna gently placed Ethan in the new cradle. The baby opened his eyes wide curiously, looking around at the new environment. Max immediately lay down next to the crib, his eyes still not leaving the baby. "We'll be fine," Anna said, both to Ethan and to herself and Max. "We have each other." The first days were not easy. Anna must learn to balance work and caring for a newborn. Fortunately, she received tremendous support from her colleagues and neighbors. Dr. Wilson even arranged a more flexible work schedule for her. Max became an indispensable companion, always by Ethan's side. He seemed to understand his responsibility to protect the baby. Whenever Ethan cried, Max would run to find Anna, even bringing her diapers or bottles. One night, when Ethan was about 6 months old, Anna was woken up by Max's urgent barking. Without exception, Anna immediately took Ethan to the hospital. There, doctors diagnosed Ethan with acute pneumonia. During Ethan's 3 days in the hospital, Anna did not leave her child's hospital bed for a single step. Max is also allowed to stay in the hospital, lying at the foot of Ethan's bed as a loyal guard. When Ethan finally recovered and was discharged from the hospital, Anna felt like she had just gone through a big battle. She realized that a mother's love can bring extraordinary strength. As time passed, Ethan grew up healthy and happy. He always had a big smile on his face, especially when he was with Max. Ethan's first steps were to get to Max, and the first word he could say was dog. On Ethan's 5th birthday, Anna throws a small party at home. Dr. Wilson, Eric, and many other colleagues attended. When Anna looked around the room, saw Ethan laughing and joking with her friends, Max lying nearby watching, she felt her heart fill with happiness. Dr. Wilson walked up to Anna, smiled and said, "You've done a miracle." Anna looked at Ethan, and saw that he was happy and healthy. Anna nodded, tears of happiness rolling down her cheeks. "Thank you, doctor. Without everyone's support, I can't do this." At that moment, Ethan ran over and hugged Anna's legs tightly. "Mom, I love you," Ethan said. Anna bent down and hugged her son tightly. "I love you very much, Ethan, too." Max also approached, resting his head on Anna's lap. She stroked its head, her heart filled with gratitude. When the party was over and everyone left, Anna sat on the sofa. Ethan slept in her lap and Max lay at her feet. She looked out the window and saw the bright moonlight pouring into the room. Anna thinks about her journey, from a dozen singles to a single mother with a son and a loyal dog. Life is not always easy, but every challenge is an opportunity for them to become stronger. She whispered to the darkness, thanking Ethan's parents, to fate for bringing Ethan to her. "Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be loved and loved." Anna knows that the road ahead is long with many challenges ahead, but she also knows that with love and courage, nothing is insurmountable. When Ethan enters school age, Anna faces new challenges. She was worried about how her son would react when he learned about his special situation. How to explain to Ethan about his biological parents? How does the boy understand that love does not only come from blood relations? One day, when Ethan came home from school with a sad face, Anna knew it was time to face the truth. She sat down next to her son. Max was also lying nearby, as if sensing the tense atmosphere. "Baby, what's wrong?" Anna asked softly. Ethan hesitated for a moment and then said, "Mom, why don't you have a father? Everyone in the class has both parents." Anna felt her heart tighten. She was mentally prepared for this moment, but still couldn't help but feel worried. She held Ethan in her arms and began to tell him the story of the day Max took him to the hospital. When the story ended, Ethan sat in silence for a while, seemingly trying to understand what he had just heard. Then the boy looked up at Anna, his eyes full of tears but also full of love. "So you chose me?" Ethan asked. Anna nodded, tears rolling down her cheeks. "Yes, darling. I chose you, and it was the best decision of my life." Ethan hugged Anna tightly. "I love you, Mom. You are the best mother in the world." Max also approached, resting his head on Ethan's lap. The boy stroked the dog's head, smiled through his tears, and thanked Max for bringing him to his mother. At that moment, Anna knew that their love had crossed all blood boundaries. They are a family connected by love and courage. As the years passed, Ethan grew up to be a kind and intelligent guy. He inherited the spirit of compassion and courage. Anna is always willing to help others. Max, despite his age, has always been a loyal friend of the family. On the day Ethan graduated from college, Anna sat in the hall, filled with pride as she watched her son walk onto the stage to receive his degree. Beside her, Max lay silent, his eyes fake, but still lit up when he looked at Ethan. After the ceremony, Ethan ran over and hugged Anna tightly. "You can do it, Mom. It's all thanks to my mother." Anna smiled through tears of happiness. "No, son. This is my achievement. I'm very proud of you." Ethan knelt down and hugged Max and thanked him, his old friend. "If it weren't for you, I probably wouldn't be here today." As they walked out of the hall together, Anna looked at the two most important people in her life, Ethan and Max, and felt her heart fill with happiness. She remembered that fateful day when a dog, Max, walked into the hospital with a newborn baby, and how that moment changed her life forever. Anna knows that life still has many challenges ahead, but with love and courage, they will overcome it all together. Because that is the meaning of family. Not blood, but unconditional love and sacrifice for each other. And as Wilson kisses down, Anna, Ethan, and Max walk home together, to the place where love has always existed, where a dog, Max, has worked miracles, and where a nurse has found the true meaning of her life.